Welcome home, neighbors, to episode 282 of the My DVC Points podcast. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at DVC Resale Market as we're going over their sales data for February of 2024. And to help me do this, I'm going to bring my friend in, Mr. Andy Berry. How you doing today, Andy?
Hey, hello, my friends.
Hey, Andy, it has been a long time. Like we had some delays. You've been moving on me, and
Y'all moved. Y'all moved.
Yeah, no more California life for you, my friend.
No, man, we're deep in the heart of Tennessee. In fact, I was almost going to go over and see Elvis this morning.
Well, you could have. Tell him I said hi.
30 minutes from here.
So what is he hanging out at a Burger King now? Like,
he's underground, Toast.
Oh, okay. No conspiracy theory about Elvis hanging out there, right?
He's still there.
Okay, well, if you're new to us, once a month I get together with one of the agents from DVC Resale Market and we talk about Disney's right of first refusal. That's when, if I go to sell you my contract, Andy would write it up, but then he has to submit all the paperwork to Disney and they decide, are they going to steal the deal? Are they going to jump in as the buyer of this contract and take back those points? Or are they going to let me sell the contract to you? That's right of first refusal. So we start off with that because it's normally a bigger story, but here in the last year or so, it's pretty much been a big nothing burger. But we'll cover that, and then we're going to cover average sales prices. So what's been going on in the market? We'll look at trends. We'll start following that up with inventory analysis. Because if we can look at sales prices and inventory, that tells us if the market is heating up, cooling down, what's going on with it. And it gives you an idea for what's going on. If you're looking at solving some add-on itis and buying some more points, or if you're just curious as to what your points would be worth in the market today if you had to sell. That's why this show is so incredibly popular, because we all have a few $1,000s invested in DVC, 10s, 20, 30 or more. So that's why this show is so popular. That's why we like covering it every month. And it's always good to hang out with my buddy Andy. So, Andy, let's jump into this right off the bat here with right of first refusal. And what happened last month, Andy?
Basically nothing. Disney bought back a couple items, a couple Grand Floridian listings. And really, it's the Roper monster is sleeping.
Yeah.
If you're looking at buying, now's the time. There is no reason holding you back.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this, and it looks like they bought this back at 148 a point.
Yep.
And we scroll down and we see they bought back 2 contracts this year. So we look at one in January and one in February. That would account for both of them. And I'm looking at that and I'm going 148 is a little bit low because I'm going to jump ahead. We'll come right back. But if I look over here at the average sales prices for Grand Floridian, let me see if I can zoom that a little bit. Nope, I don't need to chat. I got Andy with me. I'm chatting with him live. So
164. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong month.
Yeah, right here. This line right here.
Yeah. So if you're gonna offer 148, you shouldn't be surprised if Disney wants to buy it back at 160. Or sorry, if you're gonna offer 148, you shouldn't be surprised that they're gonna buy it back when we're selling them at 164.
Yeah, Disney's north of like 225 was the last I heard. Yep. It's probably up even more from that now that it's sold out. But Disney is definitely selling that full price, 225. So they're looking to flip that and make a solid, $70-something a point?
Yeah.
That's a pretty easy flip for them because Grand Flow is still a great resort and a lot of people still want to have it. And they just got done spending hundreds and thousands of maybe even $1 million marketing that property, right? To come back in when they were selling it.
The other thing that could be that driving us, again, it's only 2 quantity in total. It could be that maybe they were short of a use month and they found a buyer that was needing the use month that they ended up exercising. And perhaps that's what they did. But gosh only knows what Mickey and Minnie are doing with this.
No one knows what really goes on in right of first refusal. The only thing that we do know, and this is a new data that we've started publishing over here, or you guys have, and it's right of first refusal time. It's 16 days is the average time for Disney to look at a contract and say, we don't want it. Because we know they've only bought back 2 this year. So they've looked at, hundreds, but 2 this year, I mean, 16 days back when I was buying mine in 2017, That was closer to 30, Andy.
Yeah, I'm scratching my head, no pun intended, that, Chad, why isn't it just 4 or 5 days? Why can't they just make the decision quickly? We know they're not buying them back.
If they're not buying them back, I mean, my only guess is they're trying to make the resale process painful
Slow.
and more difficult. They're trying to just drag their feet and saying, hey, you didn't buy this from us. You bought it from another existing member, and we're just going to make things a little bit more painful for you is the only thing I can figure out.
Yep.
Because this should all be automated. You guys probably have to type all this into a website and submit it so that somebody's just sitting back and looking, and they're going over their web screen and they're clicking it going, buy that one, pass, buy, right?
Pass.
You kind of remind me of the old Flintstone buttons where he's working all day pressing a button like this, Andy. And it really is. It's pass, right?
Yeah.
Because they've only bought back 2 the entire year. So,
and
what can you do?
And that's hundreds of contracts.
Hundreds. So let's start looking at what we sold last month and the average prices of what sold and some of the trends in here. So the one thing that's just jumping out at me is it's all starting to cool down a little bit, Andy.
Yeah, it's getting a little soft out there. And, there's a little bit of price increase on Old Key West Extended. Poly is sort of flat. And the Grand Cal's up. Oh, I'm looking up versus last year. That's what I'm commenting. But in total, market pricing is down, which is going to drive a buyer's market. We'll get into that too when we get to the inventory.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm going, Animal Kingdom's down, Bay Lake's down at 132, and that's a 2060 resort that end date. So you've got some time left on that contract.
Yeah, I mean, look at last year at this time, it's still more 156. We couldn't get things through at $160 a point.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, Beach Club is finally starting to cool off a little bit, which I think it's overpriced right now at 128, given that you've only got 17 years of life left on that contract.
Yep.
And, let's just do a quick math here as to how much you're having to pay for that. But at 128 divided by 17, you're talking about 753 a point.
Yep.
And that's a little high. And
well, if you had the 753, you do a fully accounted look at it, add the dues in there at about 850, so you're at $16 a point.
Yeah,
but it's a desirable resort to stay at because of Stormalong Bay pool.
Yeah, and the easy walk to Epcot and Hollywood, and right there on the Skyliner as well.
Drink your way around the world and waddle home.
Yeah. I think Jared has a cool point here as well, is he's saying that Bay Lake is due for getting a full hard goods refurb, and we typically know when that happens, that tends to drive the market up a little bit. Because it's like, it's all shiny and new. It's got some attention. All the eyeballs are on it. So it's overdue for that hard refurb because, them 2000s 32-inch TVs that were killer back at, turn what is it, 2009, 2008, when this opened, and the 32-inch TVs were the bomb, the flat screens. Yeah, now they're like pretty dated.
Now you need a 70-inch or else you don't have anything.
Yeah, no kidding, right? And no USBs, right? I'm feeling the pain with you there, Jared. So,
well, that's an easy fix. They can change those with the alarm clocks.
Yeah, they could. They very well could. Or it's not even that difficult to change out an outlet to put in the ones that's got the USB built into them as well.
Correct.
Eddie's kind of agreeing with us here that Beach Club is overpriced for sure, and the 32-inch TVs have got to go. My 5-year-old has a 32-inch in his room. Yeah,
I want to come live at the Garcia house. I don't even have a TV in my own room.
Yeah, well, I mean, Andy, that one's on you. You just moved. Like, I mean, having a TV
we still
for
got
crying out
stuff
loud.
Packed up too much in the garage.
Yeah, I know how that goes. It takes a while, but I'm also loving this Copper Creek at 135. Given the fact that we still have 43 years left of life on Copper Creek.
Yeah,
that's a very long lease.
The challenge with Copper Creek is when you go to stay, let's say you got a family of 5. Now you're looking at a 2-bedroom villa because the one bedrooms only sleep 4.
Yeah, but who wants to cram 5 people into the only 5 persons that I really want to cram into a 1 bedroom would be Old Key West these days.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, let's just be honest. A 1 bedroom, Andy, is just a luxury for studio stayers. But once your
Yep.
kids hit a certain age, you kind of need doors and bedrooms and more bathrooms, and so it's 2 bedroom land for me.
Yep. Same here.
But yeah, I'm just doing the quick math on this, and so 313 a point for that Copper Creek, given the life left that's on it. That is some incredible staying power and value. That is like half the cost of a beach club.
Yep. And Copper Creek is still at the top of our most economical resort to own.
Yeah, and I think that math is probably what puts it there.
Well, and it's going to come down even lower once you factor in the new average cost per point.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. Now, here's another thing that's a little bit of a head scratcher to me. When we start looking over here at this Old Key West, and we see the 2042s have dropped down to $85 a point, which I still think is a little overpriced because that's $5 a point.
Mhm.
But now look at this. For another $30 a point, you get 15 more years on the contract.
Where do I sign up?
If I'm looking at Old Key West, I'm extended all day long
Yeah, and
because
we'll get into that in a little bit. We've got a bunch of extended lease listings coming, more than we've ever seen.
oh wow. Yeah, well, I guess enough time has turned because once they did that lease extensions, Disney only sells extended leases now.
Correct.
So you're talking about somebody who's held the contract for a while and are just now starting to sell it. Or it
Yep.
was originally issued from Disney way back when.
Yeah, you've got some people who have added on recently with Disney, and they're still and they still have, and now they have an extended lease. And it was purchased after 2007.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think as low as like 2019, we were recommending Old Key West to come in and pick up your blue card because I think it was selling for about 165 direct. And
Yeah.
resale was it was the smallest gap from resale to direct at the time, which is really what I'm interested in. If I'm going to pay the premium to get direct, I really want to know what my gap is and how much money am I going to lose when I go to resell that contract.
Yep.
So for me, Old Key West extended for sure. And Poly is still staying strong. And I think it's all because of the excitement for the new tower.
Yes.
And it's all going to be the same associations. You can buy resale today and then close on it and then be able to book opening day as a Poly owner right there when that new tower opens. And I'm getting excited. I haven't been by it in a little bit now. It's probably been a month or so since I've been over there. So I probably need to head over there and take a look at it.
And the Poly contracts, for a lack of a better way to say it, struggle to stay in inventory. We're down very, very low on inventory for Polynesian, but we'll talk about that in just a minute or two.
Yeah. And now our buddy Mark is saying, I love that my Copper Creek points are worth that. And I remember buying in 2017 and I paid about 158 a point with incentives and everything else direct for my Copper Creek. And of course I've had, 7-8 years of usage out of them. So I'm not complaining at all about 135. I feel like I could sell this today for 135, walk away and be happy. And that I got great value out of my time as a Copper Creek owner, although I'm not ready to sell it because I love those points and I love the program. So, but we all know, life happens, death, divorce, disability, just kids grow up, you lose interest in Disney, various different things.
So you
So
want to scroll down just a little bit and take a look at the non-Walt Disney World resorts.
yeah, non-Walt Disney World. So the beach and Disneyland.
Yep.
And I'm still not seeing, excuse me. I'm still not seeing Disneyland Tower on this list, which even if we're not selling it,
we should be on maybe next month. Yesterday we sold a Disneyland Tower listing at 145 a point with double points. Double points.
Double points, 145.
Yep.
with 49 years, but if it has double points, it's got all 50 years on
Yes,
it,
it
right?
does. Yeah.
These people never even use the contract.
Unless they got a grandfather earlier. Depends. I mean, I don't know the details of the contract, but they could have something before that.
Yeah, maybe they use the first year of points, and this double is they've got a use year that, like mine, that's already started. So,
Yep. But the Grand Cal still holding strong, especially versus last year, 243 to 278. I think people still feel that that's a fancy resort to own at, and you can't beat the location. It's going to be far better than the Disneyland Tower.
I'm not going to use the word far better, but I will say better. I think what's far better at Grand Cal is the lack of transient tax you have to pay when you stay there, because they built that into the dues versus the almost $3 a point you're paying now to stay at Disneyland Hotel. I'm dropping about $1,000 for 3 nights in a 2-bedroom this summer in just transient tax.
That's a fair comment.
That's going to sting.
50 to 60 cents a point versus at the Grand Cal versus 270 at the Disneyland Tower.
Yeah, that's going to sting a lot when I check out, and
knowing
that I'm paying off this contract, right? It's and that, to me, that's the reason why the resale is so low over there at Grand Cal, is nobody wants to pay those transient taxes and all of that goes with it. So I completely get it.
Yeah.
And now, speaking of contracts,
go
ahead.
Alani, as we've talked about many times, Chad, it's a great networking point purchase because it's got this longer lease, price per point's relatively low, and you can use them in Walt Disney World at the 7-month window. It's nothing wrong with buying that and staying at Saratoga Springs.
Not only that, Andy, but I'm getting ready to do my buyer's guide on Alani. It's the first one of the series of the buyer's guides that I'm going to put out. I'm going to refresh that content every year. And I just got done looking at this. And Andy, that's a smoking good deal over there at Alani, because 102 a point for as long as left on that contract.
Yep.
And the dues, not factoring in the transient tax, because if you don't stay at Alani, you don't pay the transient tax.
Correct.
But the dues are like middle of the pack. They used to be high. Now they're like not too bad, all things said and done. So for me, my take is if you want to go to Alani on a somewhat regular basis, every 2 to 3 years, you might as well just buy points there, because you're really going to come out smelling like a rose when you book those standard view rooms at 11 months.
Yep. Especially relative to the cash price.
Relative to the cash price, everybody comes out on DVC points. I don't even care if you're booking Ocean View to cash points. That's the best bang for your buck in all of DVC.
I agree.
Compared to cash prices. But the standard view rooms are like 34% less points and 34% less transient tax. So yeah, that's a spoiler alert to that episode that's coming up on Alani. And
the other one I find particularly interesting is Hilton Head. Look at the decrease, down $8 versus last month, but down 13 versus a year ago. And I've always said Hilton Head and Vero Beach are two of the hidden gems of DVC, because you can go there and have a great time. I mean, if you're an East Coast family, Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut, New York, pick up some Hilton Head points, because now you can go down there late fall, early spring, and sort of get a jump on either the summer, or get a extended summer stay, not have to go back to the winter too soon.
Yeah, the owners definitely book up that resort on weekends and holidays. And if that's what you're looking for, like, you pretty much need to own there to stay at Hilton Head on a summer weekend or holiday. Outside of that, it's pretty accessible at 7 months. But I think the market is correcting these two resorts due to the higher dues.
Well, and the length of time left too.
Yeah. Yeah. The length of time and the dues, because, well, I mean, all of the 2042 dates are going to end at the same time. So Beach Club Boardwalk, Boulder Ridge, so Old Key West, they're all dying at 2042. So, but why is it that these are 57 points, versus Boulder Ridge, for crying out loud, at 103?
Yeah.
Like,
it's the dues. And you're going to see when we come out with the next economical update, that I'll venture to guess, I'll bet, $5 that Hilton Head and Vero Beach are going to be at the bottom.
They could be. They could
Yeah.
be. But when you account for like the time value cost of money and what you're going to have to pay for an initial investment, there's some really good value to be had from buying Hilton Head and Vero if you're short on cash now and you don't want to finance it and pay interest on that.
Yep, I agree with that.
Because
Just
the
be
interest
prepared,
is what's going to kill you.
Be prepared for the dues bill.
Yeah, you're going to pay it in the dues bill, but you're not going to pay it in the interest if you're financing it.
Correct.
It's, north of 10%, right?
That's a good point. Good point.
Yeah. And so Eddie is saying, Hilton Head Vero, oh my God, he just loves them both. And,
I think the
Team
Garcia
Grand Cal.
family is both of them.
Yeah. Yep. And he's just saying worth it for the dues at Hilton Head and Vero. And that's just it. I mean, if you want Turtle Week at Vero Beach, you kind of need to own there. Other times it's easier to get into Vero Beach because it's Florida. So summertime is kind of hot there, but it's nice there year round. Okay. So it doesn't have the seasonality that Hilton Head has over there.
Cool.
So let's come back in, Andy, and now shift over to listings here. And what's shocking me is we do this every month. We come over here and we filter on active listings only, and the 651 number. I'm used to seeing it this time of year around 400-ish. So that means we've got some inventory sitting there. Yep,
and it's it's a couple big ones right there. Animal Kingdom and Saratoga Springs, both at over 100 listings. So that makes up 200 of the 600. So that's 1/3. It's about 30% is sitting in Animal Kingdom and Saratoga Springs. So that should indicate to you as a buyer that there's plenty of opportunity out there.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. When you start to see inventory creep up like this and prices start to get soft, that tells me as a buyer, I'm going to be looking for some of those that have been on the market for a while or starting to get a little bit more aggressive, just a little bit more in my bids to see if I can't come away and legally steal something.
Yeah. The one that to me that jumps out doesn't make sense per se is Copper Creek with 50 plus active listings on a percentage basis of total. We're almost 90%. So they're sitting there and starting to rack up. So that should be a buyer's opportunity as well.
Yeah. But look at these small contract ones, 165, 179.
Yeah.
So mine are all 50. So yeah, but mine are all 50. So I could sell mine today and
let me know when you need me to send those listing documents to you, Chad. I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
Let's talk real quick on the Old Key West extended lease ones.
Okay, let's pull that up. Old Key West. And
yeah, it's unusual to see 9 of them listed. I mean, usually 1 or 2 or maybe 3. And the perspective, or sorry, the spectrum is from 50 points. Look at that, $125 a point, not a bad deal, all the way up to 270 points. So, we're back to the value. The 15 extra years is going to be a pretty strong equation to say, hey, let's go off and maybe consider one of these add-ons.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Andy, let's go over these 2 things that I'm seeing here as new. These certified hot prices.
Yep.
So what's going on with this contract?
So there's about 30 to 35 of those out there now. Those are guaranteed to be at least 10% below market value in the price. There are no negotiations, no haggle pricing. It's deal set, firm price. But I'll tell you, those are flying off the shelf too. Is if it dips down to 25, 27, we're back up to getting 30, 35 of them. So that's a nice place for people to look at if you're a first-time buyer and you don't want to get involved in the back and forth negotiations because the price is firm. It is price fixed. Got
it. So those are like our old red hot deals. And so maybe it's the new marketing spin on them or something like that. But
our marketing team is always doing new stuff for us.
Yeah, always there. So let me come back in and maybe certified hot price. I got to take that filter off. Let me just hit clear filters. Refresh the whole page.
Yeah.
There we go. Because
I
I
know where
saw
you're
some
gonna
of
land.
these that are like Magic Cash as well.
Yeah, Magic Cash. There was 38 of them last night. Magic bonus cash listings, which gives you a $500 Disney gift card at closing. And those are negotiable. They're no price fixed, but there's some pretty sweetheart deals out there on those too as well. I was looking over
So
those earlier today and last night.
yeah, because like this is $111 a point for an Animal Kingdom. And so you're probably telling me I can probably get it for 109 with a little bit of negotiation and get the $500 off
Yep.
for the Disney gift card. So yeah,
So,
that's
you
not a bad deal.
take the number of points divided by the 500, take the 500 divided by the number of points in the contract. And you're looking at a pretty, an incremental sort of cash discount.
Yeah. So
And then
okay,
you got some spending money in your pocket for the next trip.
yeah. Well, it's a 200-point contract, 107.
So it's $250 a point.
Yeah. So 107. I'm going to negotiate that down to 109. Take another 250 off from that. I'm at 106.50, and now I'm below average for a contract that's still got 100 points on it coming up in
Yep.
December.
Yep.
And I got plenty of time to close on that, book something, and go ahead, because those points don't even start until, if I buy it now, it's March. I'm going to be having those points in my hands by June, and I'm still 11-month booking those.
Yeah. There's one out here that's I think pretty sweet. It's the 200-point Saratoga Springs with 100 points in 24, 225, priced at 101 a point. Again, negotiate that down to 97, 98, and then take another $202.50 off. Now you're at 95, 96 bucks a point. That's a killer deal. That's taking the price of Saratoga down to back to 2011 levels.
Yeah, you said it was 102. Well, there's some here at
101.
99,
Yeah, 99,
96.
depending on the points.
Yeah, but this is full points for 24, like 160.
Yeah.
This is not a strip deal. Full points, full points, full points.
Yep. So there's some hidden gems out there, and if you want to talk through those, we can get on the phone with us, and we'll be here for you to go through these. But that's another one that I draw new buyers to the Magic Cash bonuses.
Yeah. I just saw a comment in our Facebook group today as well, Andy, and I'm going to comment on this in the show as well, because they were talking about buying resale to just get their feet wet. And I think that's a phenomenal strategy. If you're looking at all of this DVC stuff and it's a little confusing to you and you're not sure if it's going to be a good fit, you're not sure if you're going to like it, or if it's going to be a really a lifestyle purchase for you. Because let's just face it, this is a lifestyle purchase. You're committing to come to Walt Disney World for the next, 17 years at least.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but if you buy resale and you're buying this at $96 a point, and you try it for a year or two and you don't like it, you're still going to sell it. And it's not like the prices have come down.
Yeah. I mean,
like
think about
astronomically.
Sure. And think about it this way too, Chad. If DVC starts the Rofer monster again, that 96 bucks a point is going to jump up to 108, 110, 112 pretty quickly.
Yeah. And when you sell it, you're going to recoup back the closing cost that
Yep.
The real estate commissions, the filing fees, the title insurance, all of that stuff that you buy when you buy a deeded contract.
Yep.
You can come out ahead. And then if you use it a year or two of points, you're really coming out ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I always used to tell people, once you pay for the membership, you're basically vacationing on the cost of your annual dues each year.
Yeah. Yeah. Once that sunk cost is gone. But to me, that's a really good strategy. If you're looking at this and you're not sure, start with resale.
Yeah.
Try it out. You'll figure out if you like it in a trip or two. And if you don't like it, call Andy up and he'll find you a buyer pretty fast. And you'll get your cash back and you'll have had a pretty inexpensive DVC stay.
Yeah.
But Andy, that's all I've got. I think we've covered right of first refusal, which was a one contract buy, average sales prices starting to soften across the board, and inventory is up. So what else are we missing here, Andy, for this month?
How to get a hold of us.
Very good. Very good here. Well, let me drop this down because I think I have a magic banner here. If I do, maybe. And yes, I kept it.
Look at that.
Andy at DVC Resale Market, 949-412-0850, right there down below. And then dvcresalemarket.com. If you want to go check out their website as well. So we've got you Andy stuff. Andy's rocking the Toy Story because you can remember him by what's written on the bottom of Woody's boot.
You got it. We're here for friendship too. We're here to help you and get you through the buying and selling decision in the process. There's never a silly question. Just reach out and give us a buzz. We're here for you.
Yes, that is. And speaking of which, if you do have a question, next Sunday night at 9:00 Eastern, Andy's going to be back with us for an Ask Us Anything kind of show. So whatever your DVC questions, whatever it is you guys want to talk about, Sunday night, that will be on March. Get my calendar here. We just know it's next Sunday.
April 1st.
March 31st.
March 31st.
Yeah, March 31st. We'll be back next Sunday night for an Ask Us Anything. Tonight, we'll be back for a trip report from Ron and his first visit as a Grand Cal owner. Not a Grand Cal, a Villas at Disneyland Hotel owner, and talking about him on his thoughts on the resort, the trip, and how him and his wife enjoyed their new home. So we've got that coming up later tonight at 9:00 as well, or check us out on the replays. Andy, any final words of advice before we wrap this up?
It's always a pleasure to see you and spend time with the community members. As I said, this is the safest community out there. Ask any questions you want. There is going to be no pushback, but welcome to the DVC, My DVC Points community, and enjoy your time here. Reach out anytime. We can answer any questions and help y'all.
Yep. So thank you so much for joining us, Andy. Thanks for tuning in. Andy, DVCResaleMarket.com. Huge shout out thanks to all of our sponsors over at World of DVC, including DVC Resale Market, DVC Rental Store, and Monera Financial. And a huge shout out of thanks to all of our Patreons as well. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you found something in today's episode that'll help you make some buying and selling decisions and do a solid for your family. Have a great night. We'll see you on the next show.
Welcome home.
Good night, everybody.
Night.